Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Hello, everyone. This is Harold Green of Bright Tree Wealth Management, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm also pretty excited to be sharing today's show with you, as it is part of a series of helping people to speed up the timeline that when it comes to recovering their portfolios from taking losses in the stock market. And I say they took losses because they didn't hold their positions. They sold out of them into cash and various different things. And now it's going to take them about 5 years or so to get back to where they were before they sold everything. And so it can be anywhere from 18 months, a year and a half, to 5 years. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. And so my goal is to help people get from the 97% to the 3%, which basically 3% of the people in the country will retire with enough to live on for their entire lives. And, they can travel, they can do all the things that they want to do. But 97% of the people in the United States of America will not be able to retire with enough that will last them their entire lives. They're going to have to make a lot of changes. And the title of today's show is The Right Questions to Ask Your Financial Advisor or even yourself. And a lot of people out there in our country are not working with anyone. We are in the do-it-yourself age to the max. And oh my God, there's so much data available to everyone through Reddit, through Google, through YouTube. There's so much advice. And I've had people tell my clients, why are you paying someone to do this for you? Your financial guy is probably ripping you off. And he's this and she's that and on infinitum. Like, I hear a lot of that stuff out there. And it's just like when you get sick and you have to go see a doctor, you don't do that yourself. You don't operate on yourself. You don't cut yourself open, give yourself the anesthesia. You don't do that. But why is it when it comes to investing, people take that position? And so today I want to talk to you about the things that you should be asking any advisor before you hire them, because it's really going to put you in an awesome position. Because the one thing people don't want to give up is they don't want to give up control. And I'm going to talk to you folks a little bit about that. So are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. And one of the things that I started doing was, before I speak to people who are interested in my firm, I have them listen to a series of podcast shows so they can get to understand what I'm about. They get to understand how I work, how I operate. But sometimes people come along and they don't want to go through the process. And what I've learned is that anyone who does not want to go through my process will not stick to a long-term financial plan. They will not stick to an investment strategy because they always try to find the shortcuts. And when you're doing this kind of job, shortcuts will kill you. They will kill your portfolio, kill your momentum. And because we're talking about investments, I got to put out this disclosure that all investments do carry a risk of loss. Past performance is no indicator of future results. And if you're going to be investing, you must invest according to a well-balanced, comprehensive financial plan that encompasses all your needs, some of your wants or all of your wants and goals and dreams and wishes and different things like that. Because if you're not investing according to a well-balanced, comprehensive financial plan, guess what you are doing? You're taking a lot of risk. And sometimes when you're taking risk without a plan, it's called gambling. You are guessing and gambling with your life. And I can help you avoid that. But the first thing we got to know is, before we work with anybody, there's some questions that you ought to be asking. And I talk to a lot of people, and sometimes I have to humble myself because, everyone deserves a shot, right? Everybody deserves a shot. And I want to be fair about what I'm saying here. But I sometimes get extremely frustrated with the wrong questions. And one of the biggest wrong questions that I get is, Harold, what's your average return? And they miss the point because I tell them, I don't run a mutual fund. You can't go look my fund up online and see my average rate of return. You're missing the point. You shouldn't be asking what's the average rate of return. You should be asking what is your actual rate of return. Give me some numbers. What have you done over the last 5, 10, 15 years for some of your people? Because average rate of return means absolutely nothing. I can average 10% all day. I mean, okay, well, you come on board because I told you 10%. Now we're down 20 and now you're mad because I told you I averaged 10%. Well, we're in a bad year. We're in a down market. Like if I was the average guy or girl, that's what would be going on. Okay. Unless you're with an active money manager, and we're active money management. So therefore, there is no average rate of return. There is actual rate of return. Okay. Some of my clients coming out of COVID, they got 500% return. Is that the average? No. But here's my thing though. When I build portfolios for my clients, we have short-term, long-term, intermediate buckets. The goal of the short-term bucket is to get that client a 5% return every year for the foreseeable future. I can't guarantee that, but that's what I'm shooting for. On the intermediate bucket, I'm shooting for 10 to 15% per year, regardless of the market. Do I hit that every single year? No, but that's what we need. The long-term bucket, I'm shooting for 15 to 20% per year. Do I hit that every single year? No, I don't. But here's the thing that I want to talk about. If we have a short-term bucket and we need 5% for 5 years at a stretch, 5 times 5 is 25. But what if, based on an opportunity that I see in the market, in 1 year, I can make that client 25% return on that bucket? How good is that? Is that an average return? No, it's not. It's an actual return. So if I can do that, I can get that 25%. And I told one client who came out here to Vegas to see me, I said, hey, you're up 400% this year. He said, what? I said, yeah, you're up 400%. And he said, no way. I said, here's the statement. We logged into Schwab, we looked at it, 400%. He said, oh my God, Harold, that's insane. I said, so can I take the next 30 years off? He said, no, you got to keep going. And I said, okay, great. So we're not going to get focused in here on average returns. We want to know actual returns. Okay. Now, here's some other good questions that you can ask someone. How often do you check my portfolio? Why is that important? Because for me, we check our clients' portfolios every day. We check the positions in your portfolio every day. Now, do we have to check every portfolio every day? No, but we check every position in the portfolios every day. So if we see positions that are not doing well, we can trim them. And if they happen to be in your portfolio, then they get taken care of. You're traded in a block. So everybody's portfolio gets attention from the most part on a daily basis because we're checking all the positions. And at least every quarter, we're going in and we're just kind of going in and just looking at, and some clients, we have to look at it every day because some of them have some extreme situations that they need a lot of tweaking. And it depends on the type of account that you're in. So for a lot of people, I mean, we're checking all the time. And we have everybody built into groups and built into strategies and different things like that. So that makes it easy to manage. And some people will say, well, Harold, how many clients do you have? My question is, why is that important? Well, if you have too many clients, you can't take care of me. Like, how do you know that? Well, the other guy, he only had 100 clients and he still didn't take care of me. It's like, well, that's them, not me. Like we're different people. We're running different strats here. And my goal is to get you out of the 97% to the 3%. And the reason why people are in the 97%, because their person, their strategy is different than ours. Okay. And so if you like their strategy, stick with them. If you like our strategy, stick with us. And my thing is when a client comes on board, they don't have to stay with me forever. If you don't like what I'm doing in 3 months, fire my butt. You should not have any non-performing team members on your staff, like on your team. Like your accountant ought to be doing their job, their attorney doing his job, your investment guy doing his job, your yard person doing their job. You should not have any non-performers on your team. And I hate when people try to project on me what they've experienced with other people, because You ain't getting that right here. That's not what we do. We're not about that. Okay. So the other question I think you ought to be asking your person is, what type of research tools do you use? Well, a lot of times they don't use research tools because they're just buying mutual funds. And the mutual fund guys are the ones doing the research and putting the stocks in the fund. But we're active money management. So we have to use a lot of tools because we're buying options and different things like that. So, I'll use just common data from the everyday market. I'll look at CNN, I'll look at CNBC. I have different Morningstar tip ranks. We have Zacks advisor tools. We look at trade economics. We look at oil, different things like that. We use bar chart. We use option strat. There's just a lot of software that we use. We use Riskalyze to do the risk tolerances. Oh my goodness, we're custody on Schwab, so there's just a lot of stuff over there. Alpha, what is it? Seeking Alpha, we use that. There's just a lot of things we use, and so we collect that data. And when you crunch that data down into our strategy, then we have our analysts write out. They write out their synopsis of these positions based on the trends and the targets and different things like that. And then our strategists that's on board with us, they will recommend certain options based on probability and different things like that, profit probability, risk, and so on and so forth. And from there, we just put that in our strategy and we run with that. And we're constantly reevaluating those positions and saying, okay, how are we today? Are we still good? Do we need to rotate? Do we need to move? And things like that. And then it's basically, what companies are you buying and why? Harold, why did you buy Tesla? Now, Elon sucks. Why are you buying that? Oh, well, here's the thing. You want to make money or do you want to feel good? Like, is this all about your feelings? We're talking about trying to speed up the recovery time of your portfolio. Not, what's the word I want to say? I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But again, we don't buy companies based on what's going on in the news. We buy companies because they meet certain criteria, they're within a target range, they have massive upside potential, the catalyst is present. We know what the catalyst is. We know what's going to drive that stock forward. The timing is we just have to get the timing right. And then we're buying based on that. We need to know what the catalyst to the upside is. We need to know what the catalyst to the downside is. Okay. And again, I talk to a lot of people all the time. And some people, they trust me right away because they've heard the podcast shows. They've heard people talk about me. They've seen performance reports from clients. And, one of the things I tell clients is if someone says, this guy, Harold, he's just ripping you off. How much does Harold charge? Well, Harold charges me 2.2%. What? That's too high. And I said, you know what? Your portfolio is up right now, 340%. Go show them that. Go show them that. Past performance is no indicator of future results. We're not talking average rate of returns. We're talking actual returns. And if they still say something crazy to you after you show them that, a part of them is they're just looking for a reason not to hire anybody. And they're just looking for whatever to justify the decisions that they make. So some people trust me right away. Some people, they're real skeptical and they ask a lot of disqualifying questions. And a disqualifying question is something that some people, I say it like this, whether you're going to like me from the jump or you're going to hate me from the jump. Just based on the first 3 or 4 minutes of our conversation, you're going to know right away whether I'm the right guy for you or not. You're going to get a vibe. And if that vibe is negative, guess what you're going to start doing? You're going to start saying negative things. You're just going to start asking disqualifying questions and you're going to start projecting negative things on me. Like, how many clients do you have? You have how many accounts? I have 1,000 accounts. What, 1,000 accounts? You can't look at those. Like, who are you to tell me what I can't do? Who are you to tell me what I can't do? I'm doing it. We are doing it. And I believe we're doing it to the best of our ability. We have a strategy. We have a system. Just because every other person is sitting here in mutual funds and then going and playing golf every other day doesn't mean that's what I do. We are different. And so you'll see things on YouTube like how to choose a financial advisor and it gets millions of hits or thousands of views. You'll see things on Reddit like, is my advisor ripping me off? I did a show a while back titled Greed versus Optimism. And if you can go find that and look at that, that's going to be fantastic because that'll help you as well. So basically, here's the deal. you got to ask the right questions in order to get the right results. You got to do that. Encourage your self reflection. Like, what do you want your money to do for you? If you came to work for me, it's like, Harold, I want my money to do this. I want my money to be able to provide an opportunity for me to remodel my house when I'm 65 years old, because we've been putting this thing off for 30 years. The house is all falling apart. And, I just really want to enjoy a remodel in my house. Like, and I'll say, you deserve that. You deserve that. I met with a client the other day for breakfast, and she's single, and I told her, I said, I want to spoil you rotten. I said, I want, not in a bad way. I said, but I want you to be able to do all the things that you want to do. And she said, well, I canceled all my trips because the market is down right now. I said, your trips have nothing to do with the market. I said, we're just in a temporary situation right now. And you shouldn't be basing your travel on what your portfolio looks like. I got this for you. We got this for you. And we're making the right moves. The catalyst is present. Your portfolio can be up 100% next week or 300% next year, because the catalyst is there. And once they start the fire, it is going to burn very hot. It always does. After every downturn in the market, there is a roar back. I've never seen the market never come back. It's just the timing and the companies that you buy. You can be in a hot stock market, but in the wrong stocks. I'm going to say that again. You can be in a hot stock market, but in the wrong stocks. You have to ask the right questions in order to get the right person. You have to have the right person in order to get the right results. There really is no luck in this. Okay. So you want to ask the right questions to get the right results. Book a call to find out how. I'm going to answer them for you. Or you can tune into the next episode to avoid the pride trap. That's very important. So thank you very much for tuning in to today's show. And until next time, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.